Welcome to Go Home Heat, a sports entertainment podcast. I have Justin here, and we are going to go through a week of Raw
And SmackDown.
Then the draft on SmackDown, which makes somewhat of Raw irrelevant unless somehow they had the foresight to know who would be going on to each show.
What?
Which would be, I don't know. I don't know.
It's not possible.
Yes. Orton is a promo early. He comes in, he opens the show on Raw. He remembers show, Christian, HBK, Drew kicking him in the face. He describes the night vision glasses.
I watched that show last week.
Yes. They gave you a quick.
Quick?
Do you ever watch soap operas?
Oh, yeah.
You know how, like on a general hospital, they'll literally, like, somebody will walk onto the screen and they'll go, "Hello, Bob, who once dated Jen, who once dated Leroy, who wanted me dead."
Yes.
And it'd be like, wow. So they're like, introduce.
Everybody get... Anime is terrible for using flashbacks in the middle of fights to remind you of why these guys are fighting. And it's like, dude, I watched that episode 10 episodes ago. I watched it. You don't have to remind me.
Every episode of a soap opera is like Raw or SmackDown, where every segment we have to remind people why we're here. It's like every episode is made for the first time viewer.
Yeah, and it's annoying.
Yeah, for the people like us, right? So this winds up being the kind of thing where Drew comes out. Prior to Drew coming out, he says he's going to get his shot at Hell in a Cell because he's Randy Orton, by golly, and he's probably right.
Doesn't Drew jump in backstage then?
Yeah, he jumps him, whoops him jumps him pretty good, like I said, and winds up. Sorry, we just had a power flicker because there's a storm outside. By the way, we just got through with a hurricane. Louisiana, man, I hate it. I know y'all just got through with one and one's rolling through there today.
Thoughts and prayers, folks, man.
Yeah. Ugh. But nothing really new here. We knew this was going to wind up in a cell.
Yeah.
Wow, my power just went out again. So, 6-man tag match. Zelina, Natty, and Lana is next with Mandy, Dana Brooke, and Asuka. This was okay. Lana eats another pin after Mandy Rose actually hit her with a knee strike this time in contrast to last week.
Yeah, that actually looked kind of good.
Yeah, as Natalya and Lana are licking their wounds, out come Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Lana goes through another table for
My
the
favorite
third
move
time.
of the whole thing is Zelina. When their music hits and they start walking down and Zelina just backs out of the ring, it's like, this looks like it's between y'all.
I agree with her idea.
Uh-huh.
No reason to get involved in all that.
No, and Lana makes the save for Natalya. She pushed Natalya out of the way.
And
So.
yes, and Lana is just steady going through tables for Miro's sake.
I was about to say, there is a reason your wife is getting put through tables, my friend.
Man,
Vince McMahon is a vengeful god.
that level of petty.
Oh,
running
he's
through
so
Vince
petty.
is so good.
It's what makes him, as CM Punk said, you're a millionaire. You should be a billionaire, and that's a lot of it right there.
I think he's a billionaire.
Is he back to being a billionaire again?
I think so. Yeah, I think he is. Although I know that he and Hunter and Steph have all sold off stock, but I'm not sure that that's not some kind of gimmick to allow more people to buy into the. You know what I mean? I don't.
Oh yeah.
I'm
not a business person.
I have heard that Vince made that the WWE made more money last year than they ever made, which got people in uproar because they cut people loose.
Oh yeah, and they're taking over their Twitch streams.
Yes. Well, that's what really. Yes. Yes. That's more legitimate to me, because the fact is, when you're not doing house shows anymore, having 25 people that aren't working at all on your getting, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense.
No,
you know
it doesn't.
what I mean? I get that. Well, why can't you just wait till the pandemic's over? I think they would just wait till the contracts were up, which sucks. Okay, R-Truth loses 24/7 title to Gulak, who was dressed in a custodian suit and slips on a mop bucket.
I thought it was funny that he thought he was Randy Orton.
The whole time.
Yes.
And that was a bad Drew Gulak outfit Randy Orton was wearing.
The only thing that saves 24/7 championship spots
It's truth.
is truth, man.
He's just clever,
and it's funny how something that should suck, and it does, legitimately, it's not, I can understand it, but for me, R-Truth just makes those little moments. And
Yeah, because at least 2 out of 3 he'll crack you up.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just so funny. And the fact that he can stay all in on such
Yes.
silliness is amazing.
I bet he is horrible to do promos with or do interviews and stuff with, because if you're trying to play heel.
Oh yeah, like the little Jimmy stuff and all that.
Yeah.
Nobody could stay straight with that guy. Okay, one night only. MVP is opening up the Hurt Business. Ricochet looks longingly back at MVP as Ali and Apollo go away, because Ali and Apollo would never. Monday Night Messiah time. Rollins and Murphy. Murphy won't give up the mic as there's supposed to be a promo. Murphy needs Seth to apologize to Aliyah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand who you're talking to? The Messiah says. Messiah, disciple. Messiah, disciple. That's the relationship. I could have exposed Aliyah and said how in the DM she believes Dom is the chosen one, etc., but I didn't. Glad that was a secret.
Yeah, I love that. Could have thrown that out there, but it didn't. Wait, kind of just did.
Now, there were no romantic implications there.
No, none.
But
quit trying to turn Murphy into
something that's
a creeper.
Something that's not illegal, but incredibly creepy.
Yes. I think Murphy knows it too.
Yeah. I don't think Murphy's all that into the whole... I think he's ready to be done with Seth and knows that this is the path we're going down to get me done with Seth.
Yeah.
But
he thought he was going to be in there wrestling as Seth Rollins. I bet when he came into this whole thing, he thought it was going to turn out differently than wrestling Dominic Mysterio for 6 months.
Yeah, he's had some good moments though in this.
He has, dude. That's the thing, because he's so great. You know that he's.
Well, when he and Seth were tag champs and all that, that was good stuff.
It just stuns me though if you look at how much of a rut they've been in for the last, and this is just one of the symptoms of it. But you know, you've had the Hurt Business wrestling the same 4 guys for. I think there was a stat. Apollo Crews has not wrestled anybody outside of the Hurt Business in 3 months.
Huh. That's interesting. But it'll be interesting to see if he gets drafted.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that they finally decide with the draft that they're going to go back to moving plot lines forward. I feel like they've kind of been
waiting on the draft a little bit.
Or waiting on the COVID to get over with or something. I don't know.
So we do get a match. We get Dominic and Carrillo versus Seth and Murphy, and it's pretty good.
It's a storytelling match.
And then
and the story they're telling is that
Murphy and Rollins are breaking up.
Yeah.
But they still pull it out because as Carrillo is putting him away, and Carrillo's so coordinated. As he's going to try to go to the top rope and put away Murphy, Rollins grabs his leg or distracts him, and then Carrillo winds up jumping into a knee, which looked perfect.
Oh, looked perfect.
Yeah,
but you had several moments in there where Murphy saved Seth.
Yeah.
And Seth got mad at him for it.
Right, I don't need your help.
I don't need your help.
Right.
Over and over and over again. And Murphy's the one who was the superstar for the match.
Yep.
He saved it every time. He finishes it. And then that cool moment where he looks over and walks out, and you're like, yeah, I can see this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they both storm off. So that I thought that all went really good. It's a couple things, man. I listened to a podcast that Dominic Mysterio was on this week, and first time he ever did a frog splash was onto Brock Lesnar during a Monday Night Raw, or whatever that moment was, where Ray and Dom are hitting Brock with chairs.
Yeah,
he had never done a frog splash, and Ray said, "Hey," pointed at the ring corner and said, "Go to the top, go do a frog splash." Dom just ran up there and did it.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And it's also because if you screwed that up on Brock Lesnar,
yeah, he'll kill you.
He might just hurt you bad.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
on national television.
Right. They said the Dom trained with, what was it?
You said he trained with his dad, Conan.
He went down to Jay Lethal in Tampa, went over to Lance Storm in Canada.
Yeah.
And first match ever that wasn't like just kind of a practice thing backstage was really Seth Rollins.
Well, that's
crazy.
That's some great people to. I mean,
and that's kind of why they stick him with Murphy every week, to protect him.
Well, that's what they've done every time is they put him with people who can,
that can help him get through matches and make him look good. But at some point, it's got to be somebody else too.
Yeah,
I mean, and there are other people in the company that can do these things that Seth and Murphy, maybe not as well as Seth and Murphy do it. But
AJ can make him look like $1 million.
You got to figure out a way to have him in a program with AJ though.
Yeah.
Which is weird because you would think that
they just switched brands though, so they can't do that one. He's over on SmackDown, so
Sami Zayn can get a good match. Oh,
Sami Zayn will
make him look like a star.
Yeah.
Okay, moving along. Braun wants a match because I guess COVID shut down. They didn't say this, but I guess COVID shut down the underground party. So Braun showed up and wants a match. It'll have to be an exhibition match.
That is so silly.
Because we're on different brands. Keith Lee says, sign me up. KO wants Bray Wyatt on the Kevin Owens show. Seth tells Murphy backstage, find me by 10 p.m. and apologize to me or else you're out of my club.
9 Central for us.
It was 9 Central for us. I was confused.
I was confused too. I was like, man.
The last thing?
And then and then they showed him walking around and I was like, oh, they meant Eastern time.
Right. Kevin Owens approaches the ring, gets in there, and he's mad as a hornet. He cuts the announcer off. He's not going to have a discussion with the Fiend. Anytime the Fiend touches you, you change. I couldn't breathe. All these dark, deep, dark, twisted men have been attacking me lately. Seth and Aleister Black and the Fiend. Is the Brood going to show up next week? What about the Ministry of Darkness?
I was like, nice callbacks.
Yeah, I thought he did good there.
I missed those two guys. Yeah. I missed both of those teams.
The Funhouse with Bray interrupts. He's on the big screen. He's not there in person. Hello, Monday Night Raw. Bray loves friends. You can hide bodies with friends.
Yes.
And so evidently Kevin does not know what he is in for. He will see the Fiend on Friday night. And as far as Alexa goes, that's none of your business. He cuts it off, and that's when Kevin Owens says, I'll go find him. He's here somewhere, and he starts marching.
Why is he here somewhere?
Because I guess the Funhouse has to be on the premises.
Oh, is that legit?
Well, whenever they found it, like Seth went storming around. He found
that's my point, though. Why didn't they shooting it from like a studio in beautiful San Diego, California?
Yes, absolutely. Like every game show.
I also... And he goes up there, and Aleister jumps him and hits him with the black mass. And
exactly, it takes it Indian style.
Yeah.
Kevin's out cold.
But I read this, I can't remember where, I think on Bleacher Report talking about it, and I didn't think about it at the time, but how it kind of shows that Raw is the B show. Because the Fiend didn't show up. Bray wasn't there in person. All they did was a video package for something you have to turn in and watch on Friday.
Yeah. That also, though, makes me wonder if they kept... We'll get there.
And it explains some of the draft stuff, too, that you were talking about.
We'll get there for sure. Now, Caruso interviews Drew, and Drew's going to fight Randy wherever he sees him forever, including Hell in a Cell. I thought Drew had a really good promo right there.
He did.
Drew's been looking the camera, looking straight into the camera and letting you have it.
I like it.
Yeah, I think he's doing well.
He could have said something like, if I see you at the Cracker Barrel, I'm going to claim more of you. If I see you at the Taco Bell. No, I'm kidding.
He should have.
Yes.
Keith Lee and Braun exhibition match. They bruise it up. They rough each other up. It winds up being a count out. Normally, I don't like this kind of thing, but I didn't really hate it because Keith Lee and Braun's probably a program.
Well, here's my only problem with that. I wouldn't have minded it in an isolated thing if you haven't had Keith Lee. When's the last time
he had a match that finished?
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's their. It sucks because that does seem to be one of their ways to protect the guys, just never having been in an end resulted match.
Yeah, it's like any plot line you use repeatedly.
Mm-hmm. Especially if it's with the same characters. One thing if it's and it is a thread that goes through the show. That's one way we protect guys is we don't let them finish matches.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're doing it with one character over and over, it's even worse than just doing it in the show a bunch.
Yes.
You know? But Keith Lee winds up driving. Braun is driven. Yeah, Keith Lee drives him through an LED board, and then they go off the stage through the tables. Not sure who thought Jamie Nobles was going to be able to break those guys up.
I was cracking up. I saw Jamie Nobles. Jamie Nobles on the scene, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Nobles like, I will stab both of you if you do not stop fighting.
Yes. He's the size of Keith Lee's leg.
Yes. I guarantee you he's got a knife on him, though.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Both on the rope wristwatch he has.
Yes.
What do you call those?
Oh man, I can't
It's
remember.
got like a compass on it.
Yes.
And a watch and a small knife.
Yeah.
Just in case you have to like scale down from the top of a mountain.
You get dropped off in the middle of nowhere by terrorists or something,
or
and have to
cut a tree down, whatever
Yes.
it is. You can saw it down.
I
with
saw
your
Commando,
rope.
man.
Yes.
And
MacGyver.
Rambo.
And MacGyver.
And MacGyver.
Bianca Belair is the smartest as well. She does this thing where she beats all her friends in a board game. They don't even know the questions. Gulak is happy but R-Truth, Akira hiding in trash can. They fight into the trash can, and R-Truth wins the belt back. I'm not sure how the referee knew with all three of them at the bottom of the trash can whose shoulders were down.
Seems shady, Kevin. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I do think it's good that R-Truth believes he beat Randy Orton for the 24/7 title, though.
Yes.
It'd be interesting if he bumps into him next week and tells him there's no rematch.
There's no rematch for this.
Yes. Lashley and Sheldon got a fight with Ricochet and Apollo. MVP says this is not his fault. Ricochet says no to joining the Hurt Business and does a sweet LeBron James I'll pass line on that. And then match time. It was good, clean finish.
Who won, Kevin?
Full Lashley on Apollo. Apollo's tapped out to the full Lashley a lot.
Dude, again, here's I don't know how I'm supposed to think Apollo Crews is any sort of threat to anybody at this point. It
is Lashley.
Yeah, but he never
wins.
He never wins, dude. He may win if it happens so few times I don't even remember it in throwaway matches and stuff like that. But every time, Yep.
Well, and it was interesting too when they pulled Apollo out of the ring. Ricochet was yelling at him that we're going to keep fighting you till you're tired of us. It's like, bro, y'all lose every week. Okay, Murphy bumps into Alea. He apologizes. She's kind of dressed like a nun, I noticed, which was maybe a retort to the comments online. She lets him know that he needs to be worried about Seth. You are not thinking of apologizing to him, are you? And Seth says he doesn't know. Because Seth,
you and
Murphy, whatever you want to say, his plight on the show has been in a better spot.
Oh, yeah.
With Seth than it was prior to Seth.
Oh, yeah, and the essence of a cult leader is he'll abuse you and make you thank him for it.
Right.
Because I'm helping you. Don't you know that? I'm helping you overcome these, weaknesses in your life. If you'll just listen to me, that's the
good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the message.
Ali challenges MVP and says, "Bring Sheldon and Lashley with you." The plot thickens.
And I was kind of annoyed by that. It's like, Jesus, they're gonna get him beaten on the same night too. But
Seth awaits his apology. Gets furious, grabs the beard, says, "I plucked you from obscurity." Buddy attacks, makes Seth apologize, which he does a very genuine apology as he's been hit with kendo sticks and chairs. And then winds up going for the double eye gouge, which was, once the apology was over,
Yeah, I just didn't understand. Here's my thing, Murphy. You know this dude. You know what he does.
And you just went at him with kendo sticks.
And you don't finish the job.
Yeah.
If you're gonna take, what's the old saying, man? If you're gonna take a shot at the king, make sure you don't miss.
That's right.
You know.
That's right.
Don't step on the tail of a snake. Cut the head off.
That's right. Then Seth retorts. Alea winds up running out there, tells Seth no as she protects Murphy. Ray, Angie, Dominic come to the ring as Seth retreats. I was wondering whether or not Seth was gonna smoke Alea upside the head with that chair. Well, dude,
that's how you get heat.
In that interview, Dominic said he never took a kendo stick before the night. That he took 30 of them, or 50 of them, or 100 of them.
You're done. You been broke in now, son.
He said the first couple really hurt, and then my body went numb. I was good.
That was terrible. That's terrible. That's terrible.
Okay, and so then after Seth retreats, he awaits beside it looks like they still have a Jericho 5000 backstage.
Uh-huh.
And to Seth's delight, the Mysterio family is crumbling before his very eyes.
Well, and they they drag Leah off, and poor Murphy's left out in the middle of the ring. No home, no port in the storm, cast off by his
man
Messiah.
on his own island.
Yeah.
Oh. Joe mentioned during the during all this, he was like, "Why does Ray keep bringing Leah to work?"
Yeah.
There's
There's a point to be made.
They didn't have to be on TV, right? You could have just stayed there and brought Dom, and you had to bring your whole family there every time.
Yeah.
This is your fault, Ray.
I love Joe.
Yes.
Repping Seth.
He does seem to be getting more out of this than some other people. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus the Riot Squad, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan. Baszler breaks arms, tearing rotator cuffs, the whole beginning of the match. And that was on Ruby. And then hot tag, Liv winds up coming in, doing pretty good with Nia until she just kind of gets overwhelmed by size. Shayna tags in, and she gets a little bit too cocky, gives up a little bit. This winds up being some good back and forth here, and then Shayna winds up putting an end to it. Nia holds Liv as Ruby is getting choked unconscious after a knee strike. You liked it?
I liked it.
Yes.
They should wreck people. Mm-hmm. There's not...
Absolutely. If Nia gets the pin, that person should be laying there like, I can't move. Something got crushed. Mm-hmm. And if Shayna gets the pin, it shouldn't be a pin. It should be a choke out, and that person should be unconscious.
Yes.
And Ruby did a really good job of looking like, oh my God, I can't breathe. And like her eyes kind of went all weird.
Yeah.
She did a good job.
She was a good acting spot.
Yeah.
It helps that Shayna can tighten it up on you a little bit and let you know, all right, here's where you should go to sleep. All right.
Yeah, right. Street Profits are the main event of Raw. And they give a great little promo talking about no Flair without Rick, Edge and Christian. You showed us the champs can have fun. Show as an honorary biking prophet, and Street Profits are showstoppers, so you know they're down with HBK. Drew McIntyre comes in and leads them towards the ring, but first we have MVP versus Mustafa Ali. This winds up being a little bit of a back and forth, and then they all wind up in the ring as they're going to beat down Ali. The lights flicker. Retribution sign goes up. MVP says, "Are you with us?"
They surround the ring.
They do the Avengers in the middle of the ring where we're back to back to back to back. If anybody wants to get in there, they gotta fight all of us.
Yeah.
From every angle we're covered. And then Ali runs to the middle of the two biggest guys in Retribution.
And I love the look on MVP's face. Like, man, that kid, yeah, he's tough.
And then Ali turns, and holy cow, they got us.
Yes. I would... This is the best part of the whole Retribution thing they've done so far. It's not a high bar to hit, but it was really good.
It may be the best angle of anything they've done post-Mania.
Yeah.
Is that the thing was, we had this hacker angle.
Yeah, that they just abandoned.
We all assumed it was Ali.
Yeah.
Then we have this Retribution angle, and you could kind of think it might have been Ali, but you forgot. Well, for one thing, the first attack, some of those guys were smaller. Mm-hmm. So you could have said, well, one of them might be Ali. Mm-hmm. But then when they, probably due to social media complaining about the size of this new faction, they put Dom and that other guy that's huge in there.
Dio Madden.
now you get away because you haven't seen a diminutive guy with them.
Yeah.
And Ali is like, this is really great.
It turns that whole it gives him an opportunity. It doesn't turn him around, but it does give you an opportunity to fix this.
Yeah. Well, think about it. What's the name of the guy I couldn't remember you just said?
Madden.
Okay, wasn't he an announcer for a while?
I think so.
He was an announcer. He protected Jerry Lawler and got beat up, and they took him off the announce team.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a reason to be pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Dom probably, had Dom help make Keith Lee a star.
Mm-hmm. Then got destroyed by Karrion Kross.
And then goes away.
Yeah.
He probably got a reason to be pissed.
Uh-huh.
Nobody's got a reason to be pissed like Ali does.
No.
Ali was supposed to be Kofi Kingston and got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Comes back and Kofi's the champ and they don't even think about putting him in anything else.
Mm-mm.
So then, dude, I wish they would do the whole thing and have him do a couple of Hackerman things where he shows
Hackerman, yes.
Where he shows people complaining about one another backstage, that kind of thing. But this is great. I was blown away by it.
Do you think Ricochet goes with him, ends up in Retribution?
Not right away. That's a door, but I could see Ricochet probably. Ricochet and Ali have been having these really good matches on Main Event.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see that being.
Well, you got the superhero versus the supervillain now.
Right.
You could totally do that if you had some creative people who were willing to invest in another plot line here that's interesting. You got Ricochet, and you've got Ali, you've got the guys with similar powers shtick going, and you got the one who's the evil guy with the minions now, and the other guy fighting by himself.
Right.
Because you got to kind of, Apollo doesn't serve a purpose with him.
Well, the cool thing you could do is Ali say, hey, man, Ricochet, Apollo got his title chances.
Mm-hmm.
You got that one shot with Brock, had a pretty good match. They never put you in anything else.
Mm-mm.
You should come with us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your program.
Yeah.
On that level.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Then you take your two big boys and you put them in the tag team division.
Yes.
Right? And you have them go after that belt. That middle-sized guy, you have him go after that mid-card belt with Lashley or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Or
you could do Dijakovic and Lashley and then mix up Madden and, and that other littler guy. Your girl goes,
Martinez and Mia Yim.
They're saying Martinez may be going back to NXT.
That's what I heard, but she was in the group Monday.
I know.
And she was on when they did the Retribution in the draft board, she was in that picture too. So they haven't updated the imagery.
True, well, maybe they have somebody that's about the same size. I don't know. But Yim could go into a program and wind up. So I like any way they want to go with this. Now, Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, Drew Gulak. No.
Drew McIntyre
versus Bobby Roode, Ziggler, and Orton. Roode getting back-to-back main events. That's nice. I thought this was cool. It was a furious finish like they have in these things. Everybody gets their finisher in an RKO out of nowhere. Orton is 2 weeks in a row laughing at the champ as we go to credits.
50-50 booking sure is great, isn't it?
It is.
That means you can never get rid of a program.
Right, because nobody ever wins.
Yes. How long has he been wrestling Randy Orton now? 2 months?
Mm-hmm.
Going to 3 because you got to get Hell in a Cell?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Got to play it out.
How many versions of this match have we seen now?
I don't know. A lot.
Mm-hmm. This is my problem with Raw right now.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Well, the thing is, also, I want to say Batista and Triple H was kind of when I noticed this beginning was when Batista beats Triple H handily, and then Triple H says, you have to face me in cell. You beat me, you never gone through me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was cool, but I hadn't seen it before.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden, I don't mind if you want to go back. Drew if you're gonna have a rivalry like this, I still think Drew should wind up in small programs with other guys.
Yes.
And then have Orton come back and do something.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, like if you're gonna have a program, and I get it, because there's people out there that will tell you, rightfully so, Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair wrestled each other for 5 straight years.
That was a different thing, though. That wasn't on TV every week, really,
I get
for everybody in the country to see.
Right.
It was, you know.
Well, that's the weird thing, too, about...
Bruno Sammartino had the belt for how many years?
Yeah. I get it. SmackDown! It's draft night.
Woo!
Night 1. Now, hopefully, this was what we've all been waiting on, and all these programs end with HIC,
Ha!
and then we get more.
How naive we were.
Yeah. Well, I would guess that we're going to get... Well, here, we'll get there. Night 1, Fox USA are working with WWE. Fox and the USA Network are working with the WWE to find out who they want to draft to each show. That much I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
I do not believe it is an even Stevens negotiation because they aren't paying even Stevens money. If Fox obviously pays much more. If the champ drafted to the new brand, the title goes with him, is the one rule Stephanie McMahon brings up. All right, now we have Roman Reigns, number 1 overall pick. Was he? Or was it Drew?
Drew McIntyre. So.
Raw picked first.
Yes.
So they picked
The
Drew.
champ.
Right. Roman went second, which made total sense. Asuka went third, the number 2 pick by Raw. Again, makes sense. You keep your champions.
Mm-hmm.
SmackDown takes Seth Rollins.
Yes.
And I was a little shocked at that.
I was too.
I wanted it to happen, kinda, but I think there's so many different directions you can go with Seth and Roman on the same show.
I do too.
And I don't think Seth gets a title anytime soon.
No.
And I think he's perfect for people to be the thing people go over to get to Roman.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to be together to do that either.
No.
Okay, so Seth says this is all about the greater good, not about what particular show he's on. Seth's glad he will never have to see the Mysterio family again as they implode.
Foreshadowing.
Big match time. Sheamus versus Big E. Big match time. Sheamus versus Big E. Big E has a rough bump on a suicido. I thought, man, that was a bad bump.
I thought he landed on his face.
Yeah. But then they battle to the backstage area, and they run into a catering area, which is odd that the catering had raw flour and raw eggs.
That was strange.
Normally you cook. Normally the food in catering is cooked. Today not.
Yes. Make your own pancake day.
Yeah, so Big E is covered in eggs and flour. He winds up getting beaten into the hallway. He grabs a broom. He breaks one broom over Sheamus, then another broom over Sheamus. Then he starts hitting Sheamus with the garbage can and driving Sheamus through the back door into the security area where the parking lot is.
Too.
Yeah.
They were both bleeding by this point. The kendo sticks and stuff had done their job.
Yeah, he was bleeding on his... Big E was bleeding on his hip, his thigh, and his arm. Sheamus was bleeding too. And it got...
got gnarly in the parking lot.
Yeah,
I like that Big E stopped to
sanitize his hands.
Sanitize his hands.
Yes, absolutely. And then he went and then Sheamus put him through a car window. He missed. Sheamus tried to bro kick him, and he kicked the back of the trunk off the vehicle, which was impressive.
Big E tried to hit. I don't know if it was the big ending or Samoan drop or something onto the car, and he just slid off. Sheamus just slid off of it.
Yes, Sheamus slid off of it, hit himself on the concrete, and then Big E went and grabbed him and went back and put him through the windshield. Yeah. This time for real.
Yeah. Then that window was gimmicked.
I feel like it had to have been gimmicked, or he wouldn't have thought twice about putting him.
Yeah.
Going back to it.
The crowbar too looked.
Dude, because he was wailing with that crowbar.
Yeah,
so
it was bent on the ground. I was like, man, that's probably a
well-placed crowbar, though.
Yeah.
You hardly ever see him just laying in a parking lot.
Yeah,
you would think.
There it was, under the front tire.
Right. And so, but then he puts him, he picks him up onto, they're both standing on the car, and there's a table where you check in at, and of course they go through that table where you check in at. and Big E gets the win. Good fight.
It was tough. That's man fighting right there. Big meaty men slapping meat, as Big E would say.
That is exactly what Big E would say.
That was on his outfit.
Yes, of course it was. Jey Uso comes out, and we're going to get ready for that when we come back from commercial. Xavier Woods and Kofi are back, and they congratulate Big E, and they make it clear that Big E's a single star here when Kofi and Woods talk about how they want their titles back, and they're going to get a title shot tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this winds up being a bit of foreshadowing too with the draft.
Doesn't Woods look a little thicker than?
Woods has been in the gym.
Yeah, he has. His arms.
He looks strong.
Yeah.
He looked he's shorter than Big E, but he looked almost as stout as Big E.
Yeah, he was big. Strut.
Yeah. Jay calls out Roman, wants the stip to be told to him now, which he's not getting that today. Jay starts to kind of roll on with what he was talking about, and then, of course, Paul interrupts from the big screen, and they are not on premise. Paul lets him know that everything happens on the champ's time. That your tribal chief applauds the gumption to be. You have to have that in order to be on the island of relevance. I thought Paul was being quite the wordsmith here.
Oh, he's.
And then Roman comes in with, my dad, your uncle said, believe half of what you see, none of what you hear. Which I believe I've heard that from more than just his dad. But
yeah, I'm not going to argue with that guy.
I get the point. And then he says, but, then I think they show a couple highlights, and he says, but you can believe that is what happens to you when you're in there with me. I tried to help you. The stip is it's going to be an I Quit match in a Hell in a Cell match, which we've never had before. And I don't think he's done because I love you, but when you quit, there will be consequences. So I think there's more to the stipulation than just...
Oh, yeah. I'm still going with the you're going to be forced to be my...
Lackey.
Carry
my bags, boy.
Yeah.
Raw drafts AJ Styles. Great. And we know why.
Because they need somebody to wrestle Drew McIntyre.
Because he hates Paul Heyman.
Yes.
Because Paul Heyman ran off his best friends.
Yeah, and lied to him about it.
Yes, and so AJ will not be on the same show with
Paul Heyman.
Right, which is fine. And we need AJ, people he doesn't wrestle a lot anymore. We need to see AJ do as much as we can before he decides to do something else. SmackDown takes Banks, not their champion. Interesting. Naomi gets drafted by Raw. Another interesting thing. So
was Bayley even on the 20?
Oh, Bayley probably couldn't get arrested.
Yeah.
Couldn't get arrested. She couldn't get drafted tonight. That's probably why. And then Bianca Belair goes to SmackDown, which I thought was a great pick. I love the idea of having her on primetime. Shayna and Nia go to Raw.
But it doesn't matter because they can wrestle in any.
They're the champs, right.
Yeah.
So until they lose the titles, that's totally irrelevant.
Yeah.
Okay. AJ to Raw. He doesn't like neck beards. This is a little promo he gives. He doesn't like cheaters or neck beards. And he's done with both. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Oh, and backstage, when they asked, interesting, backstage there was like a thing on the network where you could watch along with the draft, and they interviewed Seth, and he just straight said, I have absolutely zero interest to wrestle Matt Riddle. That guy can do whatever he wants somewhere else. And I don't know if that was a shoot to get into a program with Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
There was a thing where Matt's wife took a picture of Becky standing in a way that wasn't good for her butt.
Oh.
And she had made a comment of it at one time. And I don't know if maybe there's some heat there over.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
It's
weird. And then of course there's some other stuff going on with Riddle right now too off air that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Lawsuits. Yeah, he's
not like the ones that Otis is dealing with.
No. He's in the middle of a real lawsuit. Pretty good. But you can Google that. Find all that out if you want to. Pretty good match here. We wind up with Miz Morrison and Hardy and Riddle. And Riddle winds up getting the bro Derek on the Miz for the win. And then Lars Sullivan comes out. And they have managed to give us Sullivan and Riddle in about 8 minutes, which gave the internet a lot to jump on board with. Sullivan attacks Riddle, then Hardy, and then pummels The Miz. All this, what'd you think about that?
I wish I could watch John Morrison wrestle Matt Riddle for about 10 minutes.
Yes. But
what I got was pretty good. It was short. I knew something else was going to happen because the match was so short.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And then Lars Sullivan, I like Lars.
He's a big guy.
He's a big guy. Got a good look.
Big guy, heel.
Yeah.
He can go out there.
Monster.
You can job him out to people if you want. SmackDown takes Jey Uso. Raw takes Ricochet. Dominic and Rey Mysterio go to SmackDown. So we are not officially done.
Mm-mm. When's the last time that Ricochet won a match and he's that high in the draft? It's funny to me how they do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you act like he's valuable and you never use him.
Well, here's the interesting. Then Raw takes Mandy.
Yeah, Mandy Rose.
So it must have gone Ricochet, Uso, Mandy, Dominic, Mysterio, and then they took Miz and Morrison. Raw took Miz and Morrison. So we do get Ricochet and Morrison on the same show.
Yes.
And AJ Styles.
Yes. Which could be great.
Yeah.
If they would ever do anything with that.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Seth thought that he was through with the Dom and Mysterio are at Raw in their backstage, at SmackDown in their backstage, and they say Seth thought he was through with the past, but the past isn't through with him. Let's kick his ace.
That shirt that Dominic was wearing was, I don't know if there's words to describe it.
You didn't like it?
Oh my God, it was terrifying.
You got to go out there with fashion.
Yeah.
Take a chance.
His
dad wears Louis Vuitton masks.
I saw the Louis Vuitton mask. I saw that. I pointed it out.
His dad likes his Louis. Bayley versus Sasha championship match on the day of Eddie's birth. Both their heroes. Bayley gets DQ'd quickly. Stop me if you've heard this before. Oh boy, the boss avoids it and then gets the. She did a good little move where she slammed Bayley's head into the chair.
Did the thing where she catches her face and usually slams it down or slams it in the
turnbuckle
and slams it in the chair. It was slick. I liked that a lot.
And this is going to wind up being Hell in a Cell, which is fine. Like you said, though, it's a lot of non-finishes, but I want them in a cell anyway. Mm-hmm. And Sasha has wrestled Charlotte in a cell. It was a banger.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the best, the best Hell in a Cell match last year was Becky and Sasha.
Yeah.
And then she's going to be in this one right here with Bayley. So
she's got a good history run.
They have one of the great women's matches of all time. They did in NXT. Mm-hmm. They have to try to do better than Sasha's done in her other two. They should tear this apart.
They should be match of the night.
There's a lot of pressure to me.
Yes.
Knowing how they think of themselves as wrestlers. Mm-hmm. They'll put the pressure on themselves.
Well, that little match they had right there, even though it was a non-finish, was so good.
Right.
All the transitions, all the different hooks, and going for different pin combos and stuff like that.
Right. You didn't know it was going to... Like, a lot of times when these things happen, you know by the way they're wrestling, they're not actually going to finish this.
Yeah.
Right. Title match, Shinsuke Cesaro versus Kofi and Xavier. Great little match they had. Then the New Day win and get drafted to Raw.
With the belts. Dun, dun, dun.
But only Kofi and Xavier get drafted to Raw.
No Big E.
And Big E gets drafted to SmackDown. The world is upset. Dana Brooke, Otis, and Angel Garza finish it out. So you now have Angel Garza.
Dana Brooke got drafted before the Money in the Bank winner.
And Angel Garza. It was almost like they... Angel Garza, Morrison, Ricochet, AJ are all on the same show.
Yeah.
That's a lot of really good wrestling. Big E...
A lot of people to job out.
Big E, Roman, Seth... who'd wind up getting the Hurt Business?
Raw.
Raw got the Hurt Business, so that's Lashley and Cedric also. Mm-hmm. And Shelton Benjamin. Mm-hmm. Wait, they got 5 wrestlers? 1 pick? Awesome.
4.
And Cedric, Lashley, Sheldon. Yeah, 4. Dude, awesome.
Yeah.
But anyway, Raw's got a lot of good wrestlers, which is interesting in itself. I'm happy. I think you're happy that Big E is going to get a solo push.
Yes, very happy.
I don't have a problem with him breaking up the New Day. It's especially like we said earlier in our own talk. If they wind up unifying the tag team title belts, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Because
both shows get the New Day eventually. It's just that if Kofi or Xavier want to go on a solo run, they have to do it on Raw. But I want Big E to be in the I'm a solo star area, and if New Day's running out helping him and all that, it kind of that's not how they really do baby faces.
2 years from now, get them back together for a little while maybe or something. But let Big E have a good long run.
And a spotlight.
Yes.
On him. Sasha is going to get Bayley in a Hell in a Cell. We're fired up about that. Now, your main event of the evening, The Fiend versus Kevin Owens. Corey with a Clive Barker reference. Bray Wyatt wrestles stiff. This was a stiff, tough, rough match.
There was some hitting going on.
He winds up hitting Kevin Owens with the Uranagi and the Sister Abigail onto the announcer's table.
Well, and that announcer's table didn't give the one at the time they wanted it to.
I think they would have liked to have broke it with the Uranagi or the Sister Abigail. Then the power bomb, he didn't get all of it. And so then you had to give him another power bomb, and finally it broke. And then you had which Lana goes through them all the time.
Yeah, I don't understand that. They need to go talk to her and learn her secret.
Yes.
Secret's let Nia Jax do it to you.
Right. Her secret is the velocity at which Nia can do it with her little
She doesn't care.
And then 120 pounds instead of, Bray. I don't know how much he weighs, but it ain't looking.
No.
Okay. Anyway, we wound up with 3 super kicks, 2 power bombs, a DDT on the concrete, and the Fiend still manages to stumble his way into the ring. Then a super kick, a frog splash onto the outside, 2 power bombs onto a table. The Fiend still manages to get back into the ring. Kevin Owens is going for another move, Manimal Claw. Then he hits the stunner, and I love the Fiend did not let go of the Manimal Claw during the stunner.
That looked so cool. It was he transitioned the Manimal Claw into the stunner, which was slick, and the Fiend just kind of never let it go. That was.
And then the Fiend wound up power bombing him while holding the Manimal Claw in again.
No, it was like a Uranagi with it.
Another one.
Yeah, except instead of grabbing him around the shoulder, he grabbed him in the mouth.
Yeah, and then we get the pin, and lights go out. Fiend appears at the top of the stage. Alexa and the Fiend are nose to nose. You liked all that? Of course.
I liked it. I liked the way they both looked back at the ring. Their timing was good.
Does the Fiend have to wind up on Raw?
Oh, man.
It seems like Fox is paying too much money to not have the Fiend.
Raw is such a creative wasteland right now. If they keep letting him write his own stuff, it would really help the show if he was on Raw.
If he could get 20 minutes of show, that's his. And you just give him people he messes with. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Because that'd give them. But now, if they have the Retribution angle, we assume that's going to stay on Raw. You have the Retribution angle, and then they get the Fiend. You got Drew with the belt. Now you got a pretty good show. We just named off a bunch of good wrestlers. Raw should not be the struggle it can be sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's not like they have not enough good wrestlers now. It's they don't use their
right.
I
get it, man. But you had a good week?
I did.
I'm excited about what happens Monday night.
I am. They kind of saved that Retribution angle for me for at least a week until they can screw it up again. And
oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. So, for Justin, from EKP, this has been a Go Home Heat production, copyright 2020 Sports Entertainment. Go home.